Hey, what's up guys? It's TechZoomer talking to you here, and in today's video I want to compare the 16-inch MacBook Pro with the current M2 Pro or the M1 Pro or the M2 Max or the M1 Max chips against the newest 15-inch MacBook Air. Yes, in today's video I will make a full comparison between these two computers, show you what's the difference between a $2,500 starting computer and a $1,300 starting computer. These are the two biggest laptops that Apple makes and sells. And so in today's video, if you are undecided between buying the MacBook Pro or the MacBook Air, the two biggest sizes, the 16-inch or the 15-inch, then this video is for you because I will show you which computer is best for certain use cases and overall, which computer should you buy if you are on a budget. So, of course, don't forget to drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. These videos are the ones that are toughest to make, so I would appreciate the support. No further ado, let's get started. So, let's start by the design. The design of these two MacBooks is very, very similar. But the 15-inch computer, the 15-inch MacBook Air, has a slimmer and less voluminous form factor. Although it's a little bit smaller than the 16-inch MacBook Pro, this computer still rocks a 15-inch screen. But the size of this computer is not measured just by its width and, of course, its size. No, this computer is lighter, less bulky, and thinner. This makes this computer a lot better to hold and to transport. I cannot tell the differences between these two laptops. Like, it's a physical thing that you have to pick them up. This computer doesn't seem to be much heavier or thicker if you look at the spec sheets, but trust me, it is. When you pick this one up, it's a big boy. And when you pick this one up, I don't know if it's because of the thinness or the design, I don't know. But it feels much more portable, much better in the hand than this bulky boy. Don't get me wrong, this design, it's a marvelous of engineering because the power that you can fit here, the specs, I don't know how they did it. But this computer doesn't have fans. This computer is not as thick, it's much slimmer and a little bit smaller, yes, than the 16-inch MacBook Pro. But I think it still has a very, very big screen for its form factor. It has a 15-inch screen, while this one has a 16-inch. If you put them on top of each other, you will notice the differences between these two computers in terms of size and in terms of thickness. But again, it depends on you. Do you want to travel a lot with this computer? Then you should buy the 15-inch MacBook Air because I think that the 16-inch will take a toll in your backpack. But again, it's for you to decide. If you only make like one travel a week or if you only travel once a week, then this computer is great because, okay, it's a portable desktop. Trust me, this is not a laptop, it's more of a portable desktop. While the 15-inch MacBook Air is much more portable, easier to travel around if you travel every single day to commute to work or you want to work on a plane, train, much better with this one, much lighter and much easier to hold on your backpack. While this one, bulky, heavy, but definitely more powerful. In terms of I/O, these two computers have similar I/Os, but the 16-inch MacBook Pro takes the cake. This computer has 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, 1 HDMI port, 1 headphone jack, 1 SD card slot, and MagSafe port. Then, the 15-inch MacBook Air has 2 USB-C ports, the same Thunderbolt 4 ports, 1 headphone jack, and of course, the MagSafe port. So, as you can see, these two computers have very much similarities like the Thunderbolt 4 ports, but the 16-inch has much better things for professionals, has an SD card slot, has HDMI, and has one more Thunderbolt 4 port. So if you really care about I/O, then I think that the 16-inch is a much better option because, again, one more extra Thunderbolt 4 port, SD card slots, HDMIs, not having a dongle has been freeing for me. This is my personal computer. This is a computer that I'm reviewing. And if you want my advice, take always the computer that has more I/O if you have the chance. If you have the money and you really care about not having dongles, you don't really like dongles, and you like to connect to things, then this computer is for you. Like, after the 1000th time of disconnecting and connecting a dongle just to put your SD card slot and an HDMI cable, you would be glad that you bought this computer. Then, of course, that's not just it. This computer having more ports actually frees up the Thunderbolt ports that you have here. Because you have 3 Thunderbolt ports here, you have 2 here. But if you take one of these to connect a dongle, so you can connect HDMI, SD cards, Ethernet ports, then you will be left with 1. While if you use the SD card slot, the HDMI, you don't need an extra dongle, you will still be left with 3. So at the end of the day, having those ports is actually having almost one more Thunderbolt port than this one. So in terms of I/O, it's a no-brainer. The 16-inch MacBook Pro has way better I/O, while the 15-inch MacBook Air only has the basic Apple I/O. But there's a solution for you that wants a portable computer but with excellent I/O, and that's the 14-inch MacBook Pro. No, it has a smaller screen than the 15-inch MacBook Air, and the form factor is a little bit smaller and thicker. But trust me, it's worth it, because the 14-inch screen has slimmer bezels than the 15-inch MacBook Air, and so it's actually almost the same size in a smaller form factor. So if you want a very portable computer that is also very powerful and has tons of I/O, the 14-inch for you. But if you still keep watching these videos because you want the biggest computer possible and you are undecided between the 16-inch MacBook Pro and the 15-inch MacBook Air, let's keep going. In terms of keyboard, trackpad, these two computers are extremely similar, if not the same. They have the same keyboard, the same trackpad, the same amazing combo that these two things are. The keyboard on the MacBook Pro has this black paint over it, but I think it's a little bit better when compared to the 15-inch MacBook Air. I don't know, it's like 5%, 7% better. You will notice it that is a bit more stable. It's a little bit, has a little bit more travel. And at the end of the day, I think it's better. I just think it's better quality. While 15-inch MacBook Air, trust me, it's not bad. Not bad at all. It's actually really good for a laptop of this price. It's very stable, very good to use. But I think I prefer the 16-inch. I don't know what it is, but when tapping on these two different keyboards, I don't know. I just prefer this one. It's a thing that you need to try on store. This is a personal opinion. It's a subjective thing. I don't think they are different, but they do feel different when you are tapping on them. While the trackpad, totally the same. I think they are about the same size. If not, the 16 inches a little bit bigger. I don't really care. They are perfect trackpads. They are haptic touch trackpads since 2016, I think. They are amazing. They are the best on the market. Apple always has the perfect trackpad. As for the speakers, the 16-inch MacBook Pro has way better speakers than the 15-inch MacBook Air. Trust me. I don't know. What's the better way to show you than playing some examples for you to hear? As you heard, the 16-inch MacBook Pro speakers are much fuller, much richer. They have way less noise. They are better in general. They are much better speakers and they have much better bass. While the 15-inch MacBook Air speakers are no slouch, but when compared to the Pro models, the 14-inch and the 16-inch, they have no chance. They are better than the 13-inch speakers, but only by a tiny bit margin. So, at the end of the day, I think that if you really care about speakers on a computer and you really care about I/O, you really want the biggest screen possible, the 16-inch is starting to be the best option. Keeping up this trend going, I think that the 16-inch is also a really good option if you start speccing it out with the M1 Pro or even the M1 Max, not the most current M2 Pro or M2 Max. The value on these computers reside on the fact that you can buy them refurbished and used with older generation chips that are also very powerful, much more powerful than the M2 chip present on the 15-inch MacBook Air. And it will enable you to get amazing performance from the M1 Pro and M1 Max for a cheaper price. You can find the M1 Pro 16-inch for like $1,800 and the M1 Max for like $2,200-$2,300. And these chips are way more powerful than the M2 present on the 15-inch MacBook Air. They have more storage, they have more RAM, they are much better GPU performance, and of course, in terms of CPU, they are much, much better. So, if you want to talk about performance, then of course, this is an M1 Max MacBook Pro, this is an M2. This one is much, much faster than the M2 here. So, I've laid down some benchmarks for you to see. Take a look. So, for Geekbench 6, the MacBook Air scores 2520 for single and 9655 for multi-core. As for the M1 Max MacBook Pro with 32 GPU cores, 32 GB of RAM, scores 2403 for single core performance and 12,580 for multi-core performance. As for GPU, the MacBook Air scores 4600-219, and the biggest jump comes here with 118,016, so more than double of the GPU performance. As for Cinebench, the MacBook Air the results are here, and the M1 Max results are here. So, as you see, the MacBook Pro is much better in overloading the CPU with longer tests and of course the GPU performance. As single core, like I told you, is a win for the M2. So, as you saw, the M1 Max loses in single core performance to the M2. The only reason is because this has the newer cores, the new M2 cores, while in terms of multi-core, this one destroys it. In terms of metal performance, this one destroys it. Cinebench, this one destroys it. Everything else, instead of the single core performance, it's better on the M1 Max, and it will be better on the M1 Pro. So, yeah, at the end of the day, if you want the best performing computer, then the 16-inch MacBook Pro, whatever version you choose from, is the better option. No slouch. This is a Pro machine, this is an Air machine, so this machine needs to be faster, needs to be better, and of course it has the active cooling system, so when you start putting them through all of these benchmarks, actually after 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, the 16-inch will perform much, much better. The performance won't drop, it won't overheat and throttle the performance, because the MacBook Air does it. Because this computer features active cooling, it can cool itself, while the 15-inch MacBook Air doesn't feature active cooling, doesn't feature a fan, so it's completely silent. So it's one of the benefits of not having a fan, but when compared to the fan on the 16-inch MacBook Pro, which is actually very much of the time turned off, so it's also very, very silent, it's much better for the performance. So again, if you are a performance heavy guy, then the only option for you is a 16-inch MacBook Pro. But the M2 here is no slouch. If you are like only doing 4K editing and other normal stuff, or actually high-end stuff but not the highest of ends, then the M2 will be more than enough. I can run my entire YouTube channel on this computer for you to have an idea. So if you are a power user and you actually think you use more of a computer than myself, feel free to go for the 16-inch MacBook Pro. But if you want my opinion, 95-96% of you will be fine with the performance on the M2 MacBook Air, especially the 15-inch version. Let's now talk about the biggest reason you are watching this video, and that's the screens. These two computers feature the biggest and largest screens on the Apple MacBook lineup. Of course, this is the biggest one, it's the 16-inch one. And this one is the biggest, cheapest Apple MacBook. This one has a 15-inch screen, and this screen is LCD. It has a little bit thicker bezels than the bezels found on the 16-inch MacBook Pro. It's also LCD P3 color gamut and 60 Hz only capable, while this one is a ProMotion mini LED display. This means that it's better with blacks and it can refresh rate between 1 and 120 Hz. Also, this is more like an OLED display. It's not totally an OLED display. It's between the LCD and an OLED that's called mini LED. It has mini LEDs, so it's like zones where it can dim down individually. So at the end of the day, it's not that great of an OLED. Imagine an OLED where every single pixel can turn off and on. This one has zones where the backlights from the LCDs, the normal LCDs have only one backlight from the display, so you can dim the whole backlight or turn up the brightness from the whole backlight on the back of the screen, while this one has individual zones on the screen that can dim or turn up the brightness. So this can display better HDR content, and the blacks are much richer and black. So the contrast is much better on these screens. So if you do really care about HDR timelines and HDR actual performance, then the 16-inch computer will be for you. The 14-inch also has this screen, so the mini LED ProMotion screen is actually perfection on a laptop, the best screen on a laptop that I've ever saw. So if you do really care about your screen, there's no contest, this one is much, much better. But if you go into a vacuum and you look at this LCD screen from the M2 MacBook Air 15-inch, it's still great. Like, you won't notice the difference if you look them individually. But if you put them side by side, now you can notice the differences between these two computers. This one is much richer, much brighter, can go up to 1200 or 2000 nits, I'm not sure, while this one can top up at 500 and the contrast ratio is not that great. But again, only for people that really care about this, not for everyone. And so, if you are one of them, then buy the 16-inch MacBook Pro. But if you are a normal person, like me, or every other person that don't really care about mini LED, doesn't notice the difference, or doesn't really care about promotion, then the 15-inch MacBook Air screen will be more than enough. Don't forget, this is still a 15-inch screen. In my opinion, the perfect screen size for a laptop. Of course, a 16-inch screen, big, huge screen, is also perfect for a laptop, but it makes the computer too bulky in my opinion. And so I think, like I told you again and again on this video, this is a portable desktop. So for you to have on your desk, at home, at work, where you work, and at the end of the day, you take it home, or at the end of the day, at the end of the week, you take it home, and you don't work on your commute, you don't do anything else, you just work on your desk, at home, or your office, and you just have the need to carry around between your home and your office, but you don't need to work on the train or on the plane, while the 15-inch MacBook Air screen is perfect. Because of its size, you can work everywhere else and has still a huge canvas to work on. So I think this one is more balanced in terms of screen size. Although it's an LCD, it's 60 Hz, the 15-inch size makes it more balanced. I think I liked the 15-inch size from the MacBook Pros before they launched the new 16-inch version. But again, I need to tell you, the 16-inch screen is huge, bright, contrast ratio is incredible, so at the end of the day, what do you want? This is the best screen on a laptop available, so pick it up if that's the biggest thing for you. In terms of price ladders, this computer starts at $2,500, $2,600, and this one starts at $1,300, $1,299. And so, what I have to tell you is, this computer, best option for you to buy, should be the M1 Pro or M1 Max. Like I told you, you can get them refurbished for much cheaper. While the 15-inch MacBook Air starts at $1,300, discounted to $1,200 with educational discount. This computer starts with 256 GB of storage, 8 GB of RAM, and the base M2 chip, non-bin version. This computer, if you buy it new, starts with 512 GB of storage, 16 GB of RAM, and the M2 Pro chip, non-bent. So, yeah, this one has double the storage, double the RAM, while this one, if you want to get that, you will pay extra $400 to do so, and it will start then at $1,700, $800 less than the 16-inch MacBook Pro. So, still a huge difference between these two computers. But don't get fooled. Don't think right away, oh, $800, I can get the same RAM, the same storage, I will buy just the 15-inch. No, there's a better option in my opinion, and that's the refurbished part of this computer. So if you don't want to buy it new, you can get it refurbished for about that price with the M1 Pro or the M1 Max if you are lucky. But if you want to buy it new, then the 14-inch MacBook Pro enters the conversation, and it starts at $1,999 with the M2 Pro chip, the 512 GB storage option, and the 16 GB of RAM. So I think that's the way better option. Has the mini LED screen, has the better I/O, has the better performance GPU and CPU for $200 more. So I think that the extra $200 that you would pay from this to the 14-inch would be worth it. But I need to make a side note from all of these factual things, and that's the real world experience of using the M2 MacBook Air 15-inch. And this is a side note. So the MacBook Air 15-inch actually surprised me so much in the last week. This computer changed my mind, let's just say that. I thought this was totally not worth it, only the base model. But this one is the base model computer. And after a week of just using this computer, not using this one is completely to the side, just getting footage from the SSDs, nothing more. This computer has done every single thing that this computer does better sometimes, other times the same. And it surprised me because it costs more than half of this computer and it can do it. So why would you buy or waste money on this one when this computer can serve 90% of you? It's not factual, but this computer feels so good in the hand, feels so perfect. And that's something that it's not factual. You cannot look at it and say, it's this way. No, it's subjective. You need to pick it up and see how you feel. The first time that I picked it up, I fell in love. This computer is so good that even if the $200 difference between the prices of the 14-inch and the 15-inch actually, in my mind, justifies the upgrade, I think If you hold it and you think this computer is better feeling in the hand, you like the size, you just like it because it's cool and thin, you should buy it. That's something that you need to do. Go to the store. That's why Apple stores exist. Go to the store, try it out. I think you will fall in love with it because this computer is truly great to hold, truly great to pick it up, and I think you will fall in love with the form factor. That's the biggest advantage of the 15-inch MacBook Air, its size relative to its thinness and performance. This computer is the perfect commuter. This computer is the perfect laptop. This is a portable desktop. The 14-inch Mac Pro is a laptop, a performance laptop, but for a laptop, a portable computer, the one for you. I think it's the 15-inch MacBook Air. But there's a lot of things that you need to decide. Do you want performance? Do you want portability? Do you want the best screen and speakers? Then go for the 16-inch MacBook Pro. Do you want the thinnest and lowest price of the MacBook Air? Then go for this one. There's a lot of things that you need to decide. But at the end of the day, I think the computer that you buy is the computer that you should love. Do not regret any decision that you make. These two computers are great, and I'm 100% sure, 200% sure that whichever computer you decide to go for, you will be extremely, extremely happy. At the end of the day, this one is more expensive, much, much more powerful. This one is cheaper, much, much more portable. So there are advantages from them too. They have the same 1080p camera. They have the same overall design. This one is bulkier, but the form factor is about the same. They have overall the same design trend. So at the end of the day, they're not that much different. This one is a thicker, bigger version of this one with a better screen, better speakers. While this one, again, more portable. So you gotta decide. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Which is your favorite computer, the 16-inch MacBook Pro, the 15-inch MacBook Air, and which one would you buy? Let me know all of that in the comments below. While you're there, don't forget to drop a like down below, subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Tech Summer talking to you here. Bye bye.